Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is the 31st of July, 2015, the very end of July it be. And we've got quite a bit of stuff going on for you here. Don't know if this is necessarily action-packed, but it's information-packed. So we have some new stuff to talk about, some new, a pair of new kit announcements, some new decals. I'm in my GT3 decal, so we got some new GT3 decals to talk about. Then, of course, we have some brand new kits that have just come out this week, and a plethora of reissues and stuff like that. So we'll get right on into it. And if I seem a little loopy while I'm doing this, it's because on Fridays I now work 12-hour days, and so it's it's just like 10 to 9, and I need to go to bed. I've been up for a long time. At any rate, so let's go GT3 decals first. We've talked about two of these sets already because they were supposed to have come out at the end of July. However, they, for whatever reason, did not. And so now they're piled into a 4 set of August decals as of right now. We talked about this set, like I said, about 2 or 3 weeks ago when these were announced by Studio 27 as being late July. And again, they were not ever put up for pre-order until this morning, actually. So they will be August releases. This is the Team Premio Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. Very interesting decal scheme on this. I have actually seen I don't know what to call it, a test shot of decals, but a test print of the decals, and all of those little markings, those little chevrons, they're all not quite separate decals. I mean, they're organized in a way that you can, decal the car in a fairly reasonably easy way, if you want to consider putting all those things on the car easy, but they're not like they're individual little pieces. There will be, a piece for the hood, a piece for the fenders, a piece for the roof, and stuff like that, so that you're not, totally overwhelmed by the idea of trying to get all those things on there. This is going to be a pretty expensive set of decals. Let me see here. Should have looked it up before I started talking, but I didn't think of that. So please hold while we look up the price of this set of decals. Dun, 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 dun. This is what happens when you have a wife and a kid who are both also online at the same time as you are. Let's see here. Let's see. Team Premio. And, well, that was not what I tried to do. My goodness. Well, continue to hold while I tried to click on something, and it was told me that it could not find the thing I was looking for under 1/12 scale motorcycles, because that's not what it is. Yeah, this is a 3,000 yen retail price on this, which is a very expensive set of decals for Studio 27. It's going to come in at $23 even on the sale price, but usually the shelf price, if you want to call it that, for these Studio 27 decals are somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2,400 yen, which is right around where this SLS AMG is coming in. This is the Car Collection Race Team SLS. Both of these, actually all 4 of these are going to be for the 2015 Nuremberg Ring race. So, if you're looking to make a starting grid of 2015 Nuremberg Ring, you probably could get away with it after all of these decals come out in August, because several of the decals we showed in the last shipping crate, those were all Nuremberg Ring too. So, and then the one set of these are going to be done as separate sets of decals, guys. So there's 2 cars here in this picture. I know it's not the biggest picture. I could have probably found something better to use, but this had both of them in the same frame, so I went ahead and found this on Google somewhere. This is the Team Schubert set of BMW Z4 GT3s for 2015. And there's the number 19 on your right, the banana yellow car, and the number 20 on your left in the dark red car. These cars will be, from what I've seen, be decals with, you just have to paint the car black, and the decals will take care of everything else. So that's a nice turn from the black and white Team Schubert cars that ran both last year as well as the original Team Schubert cars, which is a set of decals. This is essentially unobtainium at this point, where you had to mask off and paint the car black and paint the car white, and then the decals sort of filled in the details in between. Now we have one set of kits that were announced, and usually we don't have Fujimi stuff well in advance like this, but they announced this at the Summer Wonder Fest, excuse me, which was this past Sunday, and these appear to be a set of Snap-Tight, which is not that far removed from what a lot of Fujimi's run-of-the-mill kits are anyway. You know, if you start looking at stuff like the Honda Del Sol, or really any of the Mitsubishi Lancers, or a lot of the Hondas they were only like 50, 60 pieces. And these will probably be somewhere in the 40 to 50 piece range. They're saying no paint, no glue. Like I said, it's probably a Snap-Tight, and it'll be molded in color. It won't be pre-painted. But these are two technically separate vans. They are Toyotas, for those people who don't recognize JDM nameplates. The Alphard, which is the one over there on the right, is the sort of more upscale, I'm an executive with a family kind of thing. The Velfire over there on the left is the urban youth looking for people in their late 20s, early 30s with kids who need a van. It's sportier, more aggressive looking, stuff like that. Technically, they are separate models. You cannot go buy an Alphard that's a Velfire. They don't even sell them at the Toyota store. You have to go to I can't think what Toyota's little I don't want to call it down market, but what Toyota's little downstream youth-centered dealership chain in Japan is called. Now, the Velfire doesn't come out of Japan. It's going to be a JDM 100%. The Alphard is probably going to still be JDM as far as being right-hand drive. However, they do export the Alphard into like Russia and a bunch of the Eurasian countries, stuff like Malaysia, Indonesia, China. Taiwan's not a country, but Taiwan is listed as one of the things I'm looking at here. Taiwan, China, also I believe into Australia, and all the sort of places like that you normally expect that need steering wheels on the wrong side of the car, quote unquote. And yeah, so that's your new stuff. There are no release dates on those two Toyota vans. They are, like I said, just announced this past Sunday. I would not put it past Fujimi to put a date on them for when we get the August, will be the September spot runs next month when we get into August tomorrow. But it'll be sometime around the middle of August when we get the spot runs for September. I would not be totally surprised to see a release date for those. One delay that we saw, and that is going to be those the Japanese Touring Championship, the BMW 318i's, the reissue from Hasegawa that a lot of people are looking forward to because it represents the end of a $100 eBay model kit. The official release date to that, I don't know if you could technically call it a delay because there was not an official release date until here recently, but the official release date is now October 1st. So technically, it may still come out in September. It may, they tend to beat their release dates by a day or two, so it wouldn't be totally out of the normal if it came out on like the 29th or the 30th or something like that. But the official release date is now October 1st on that. So lots of new stuff as far as releases go this week. It's the end of the month. And, of course, that means all the domestic stuff is being released here. So let's get into that neck of the woods. Round 2 has 3 kits that are coming out this month. Only 2 of them have actually shown up so far. The first one here, under an AMT labeling, is the venerable 1963 Corvette Stingray 3-in-1. The only new thing about this kit that's any different from the already existing 63 Corvette 3-in-1 is the fact that it now has this American Dream USA 1 graphics package. That literally is the only difference. Also has pad-printed drag slicks, but I believe the most recent reissue of it that a couple of years ago had pad-printed drag slicks, so I don't know that that's necessarily new. The other reissue from round 2 this month is the venerable, these are old kits, people, you should not be surprised that they are crap in the box, the venerable 1941 Plymouth 4-passenger coupe. This is got the Retro Deluxe here. So when you buy this, you kind of got to be a little on your game as far as what you're going to go for here, because this is I'm not sure if this is the original box art to this. I can't believe that it actually is, but it is a retro box art. There are some of these in this box that are not brand new for sale on eBay, and you know, every now and then you get that shyster kind of person that puts junk in a box and sells it to you. Make sure that if you're buying it on eBay or you're buying it in a show, because it's your hobby shop or Hobby Lobby or wherever, obviously you're going to get a new kit. There's no two ways around that. But if you're buying it third party, so to speak, make sure it has that big Retro Deluxe sticker on the shrink wrap, so you know that you are getting the brand new kit. There's nothing really new about this. You get a miniature box. That's the Retro Deluxe part. There's no new parts to this. This is the same 1941 Plymouth that it's always been forever and ever and ever. But, you know, I guess that there's a need for it back. If you go on eBay right now, there's like 50 of them for sale through every packaging that they've ever had, including this new one. So it is what it is in that sense. Over at Revell, we've got a couple of new tools and a couple of reissues here. The reissues first. Dan Fink's Metalworks Speedwagon. Please note that I am stealing box art pictures off of eBay. I did not steal them all off the same person, so I can't tell you really where I got them from, because that almost sounds like I'm endorsing the seller, and I don't know half these people. So, at any rate, full disclosure, I stole these, but it is what it is, because Revell doesn't put box art on their website. Round 2 does. Those last two box arts were from Round 2 directly. Revell just puts this picture of the built car on there. At any rate, reissue of this. This is a kit from I want to say mid-1990s. It was the second or third variation of the 32 Ford tool that came out in 1993, I think it was. So there's nothing new here. If you have a Speedwagon, you have a Speedwagon. There's nothing about this kit that's any different from the last one. Although I will say that I believe the Speedwagon was only ever run once, back when it was issued. I don't ever think it's been reissued since then. At least I cannot find a second box art for it. So this may be the first time this is available in about 20 years. And if you're into it, God bless you. There it is again. Ed Ross Dragnut. Kind of interesting. I did not realize this kit was as quote-unquote rare as it was, because before this kit was officially reissued, and this is the brand new box art here, guys. This is not a vintage box. There were a couple of vintage kits on eBay that were going for being asked for. They weren't selling, but going for the neighborhood of $100. And so, well, now it's 20 again. So I always enjoy a good destruction of hobby value. You know me, if it's something that can destroy the value of someone's collection, and I don't mean that in a malicious way, but you know a guy who collects model kits because he thinks they're going to be worth something someday. And every now and then we find some stuff laying around the back of the warehouse that completely prove that wrong, and this would be a great example of that. Now, the two new toolkits are Snap Tights. One is the 2017 Ford F-150 Raptor. This is a build and play. This is based on the toy that they gave away at the Chicago and Detroit International Auto Shows back in the spring. This is the official release of the kit, so you don't have to go on eBay and spend $75 for a giveaway that was free. This should probably be in the $12 range, like all the rest of the build and plays, although this is an 18-piece kit, where most of the build and plays in the past have been somewhere in the low, not low, but the upper single digits. I think the Ford Crown Victoria that they did earlier this year was the first one of the build and plays to exceed 10 parts, and it had 12. This one has 18. It's a little bit more robust than a regular build and play. I'm not sure this is actually being sold as a build and play technically. I think this might be actually sold under the regular Snap-Tight line. This box art, by the way, guys, is what all the Snap-Tight kits are going to be coming in for the future. As we see here with the brand new tool, finally, it's out. This is the Snap-Tight version. Keep in mind, there is going to be a pre-painted glue kit coming out sometime later in the fall. This is the 2014 Corvette Stingray. I did not look at the parts content to this kit as far as how many parts there are, but this is more along the lines of a Wheels of Fire type of Snap-Tie kit. It is curbside, no engine detail, but as a multi-piece interior. There are a few suspension pieces, I believe, although most of it is molded in. It has actual clear glass and clear headlights, and I don't know if the taillights are clear or painted, or tinted red, because this does not have glass. It just has the build and play goofy silver painted thing, whereas this is actual model kit, technically speaking, in the sense that it has actual glass, quote unquote, obviously clear plastic parts for where the glass goes. And everybody, all the domestic kits are out here, guys. We're going to be all over the place. So over to Mobius. Mobius released their 1965 Plymouth Satellite, brand new tool kit here. This is the first tool from the new tooling works. This is why this probably came out in advance of, say, the Mercury Comet that we're expecting, the other Hudson, because there's a 54 Hudson Hornet Club sedan, the Pontiac Ventura that's supposed to come out. This is being done with a new tooling contractor, and therefore it came out a little bit before because, aside from the fact they probably want to make a good impression, it's just, it was the first kit they ever made, so they got it out real quick. This is available. If you go on eBay and look, you can find them in stock from eBay vendors. I know that several online vendors have been shipping out their pre-orders, so it's a regular Mobius kit. It's not Model King or anything like that, so it shouldn't be hard to find once everybody stocks them in. Probably might be, depending on how into new kits your hobby shop is, might be next week before they get it in. But if you want one now, you can go get one. I really have no comments about this kit as of yet because I don't have one. It is one of the things I'll probably pick up here in the next month or two. It's no big rush. Obviously, I have way too much stuff as it is. I don't need to be buying anything else. But, once finances allow some domestic kit purchasing, this will be one of the things I look into. Just because, it's a new tool. It's a car that's, I don't think it's ever been really technically kitted before. Might have been an old annual. I'm not sure. It's way, 1965 is well before my creation, so I'm not real up on that. Somebody knows, leave it in the comment section. And then, why not? While we're rolling around here, hey, it's Galaxy Limited. That's right. This is supposed to be August 1st, but it came out this week. The 47 Chevy Coupe. This is a brand new body tool. It has, what am I trying to think of? It has new drag tires. I don't know if they're pad printed the way round twos are, but it has new drag tires. It has a brand new set of decals in it, done up by Scalemaster. I don't know. What else can you say about this? If you've ever built any of the 47 Chevys that Galaxy Limited has done, this is the same kit, just a new body. It's a 3-in-1 stock custom drag. And this is, again, another kit I'm going to look into when I get a chance. This is gonna cost you, set you back a couple bucks. The price of this kit from Galaxy Limited is $41.95 without shipping, and that means that the price you're seeing on eBay is right around there in the high 30s with shipping. I think $38 is the best I've seen on it so far. It's a brand new kit. It literally just got stocked in on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. And so, you're not going to get a lot of budging on the price right now. And, if you want one, then you're going to pay the price. I don't have a problem paying $41 for a model kit that's, pretty decent. The 47 Chevys from Galaxy Limited were well, I can say decent's probably not even good. They're really good kits. I have the Aero Sedan and the Sedan Delivery. There are problems with the 47 Grill. It's not quite the right dimensional shape. It's not really as three-dimensional as it should be. A lot of people complain about the Sedan Delivery being, the slope of the roof isn't quite correct, but it doesn't bother me. Another reissue from Galaxy Limited, by the way, is the Aero Sedan. This is going to be now come with this wood grain side thing. If you notice, the stock and the hot rod version have a wood grain thing. That is the I can't think what the heck they call it. The Country Club package, I believe. This can be built straight as a regular Fleetmaster Aero sedan if you didn't happen to get one of these back when they were out originally, because this is the only way to get an Aero sedan. They don't make the other one that didn't come with this Woody side. The Woody side thing is an insert, guys. It just glues on over top of the doors, so it's not molded into the body. They did not change the body to make this wood grain side. You notice the custom does not have the wood grain. So if you choose to put it on, you can. If you don't want to, it's not necessarily there. And then also, I didn't get a picture of it, but also the sedan delivery is back in stock. Now this Fleetmaster Aero sedan, again, is going to be $41.95 because it has new parts, new decals. Obviously there's decals for the wood grain stuff. The sedan delivery is still like $32, which is about where those kits were priced when they came out originally. So I don't know that I really need another Aero sedan. It's not enough of a new kit to me to go buy another one just for the wood paneling. If you've been wanting an Aero sedan and you weren't willing to pay the eBay prices for it, though, I don't know if this is going to be cheaper than eBay or not, but at least it's in stock. It's brand new. You don't have to worry about anybody having sat on it or ruined the decals by not storing it correctly. All of the 47 Chevys, the coupe, the Aero sedan, and the sedan delivery are all available directly from Galaxy Limited. It's Galaxy Limited, all one word, .com, and you can order from there if you want to order directly from Gary and bypass, third-party sales. Shipping's kind of expensive. I think around about $10 to ship them, but they're in a great big oblong box, so they're not in a Revell size box. If you've ever seen any of the Galaxy Limited kits, you know how big they are. And that brings us over to the Asian side of things, where we have a couple of new-ish kits and a bunch of reissues. So the two new-ish kits are the Type 4 1996 Mazda RX-7 Ifini, which is the Japanese version, the sort of quote-unquote tuning house that Mazda had for the RX-7 FD3S. This is the last, the Type 4, of those FD3Ss. This is pretty much the standard curbside RX-7 kit from Aoshima. They've done a whole bevy of them from the Type 1 through the Type 4. This is obviously the Type 4, the brand new one. They've done a whole bunch of tuner versions and all that kind of stuff. What you get about this is different are the wheels and the rear spoiler and the steering wheel. They updated the steering wheel to the 1996 spec, which was a different airbag steering wheel than the other kits have had. The brand new 17-inch wheels on here for the Type 4 and the new rear spoiler for the Type 4. Other than that, it is a straight-off-the-shelf duplicate of all of the other RX-7s. The other semi-new kit is the late version of the E70 Corolla Sedan DX. Again, like all of the Corollas, this is based off the Beskar Vintage 1970s Corolla tooling. That does mean you are getting a carrier for the motor, you are getting a battery box, you are getting a switch that molds into that places into the chassis. If that stuff doesn't bother you, new stuff about this kit is a new back bumper, a new front bumper, a new grille, and new decals for the interior. To make it the late 70s or mid 70s version of this particular Corolla. Price on it isn't too bad because of the fact of where it comes from as far as its heritage, so to speak. But I just can't stand the Beskar Vintage stuff because of the way the chassis are. So some reissues here. This will be the last of the spot runs for July. Actually, the 430 Cedric. Private taxi. This is based on the 2013 tooling, so this, while it has a basic chassis because it's just an updated version of the old motorized chassis, it is not motorized anymore. There are no more battery anythings. There are no more anythings of anythings. You get polycaps and uprights, and it's still not the most fabulous chassis in the world. It's kind of bland on detail, but I don't suppose there was really that much detail going into these cars in the first place, being it was 1983 or so when this body style came out. But again, it's not really, a lot of stuff is engraved in the chassis. There's not that many separate parts, but at least it's not motorized anymore. All of this kit was brand new tooling when it came out in 2013, including all the taxi parts. Usually those are carryovers from older kits, but they're actually brand new tools in 2013. You can build this you can not only build a taxi out of this, but you can build a regular 430 Cedric out of this. It does come with the other grills and the other interior parts and stuff like that, so you can build the more up-trim Cedric if you so desire. And then a bunch of pre-painted 86s here. Here's your satin white 86 and your lightning red 86. Both of these are complete pre-paints. You know, Aoshima, chassis, interior, engine. Well, there's no engine in these. Strike that. No engine in these. But chassis, interior, body is all painted for you. You just have to cut it off the sprues and glue it together. Good luck matching colors on the sprue attachment points. Both of the 86s can be built as left-hand drive Scion FRSs if you're interested in that. And then they also reissued the Subaru BRZS grade. This does also include the left-hand drive parts and the North American decals for the Subaru BRZ we get here in the United States. This is in blue mica pearl. It is, again, just like the other two, pre-painted, chassis, interior, body, all done for you. You have literally no work to do other than to goof it up, screw it up, and then try to pass it off as your own work. It's a long story I'm not going to go into right now, but there's one guy out there on Facebook who runs around, builds all of these pre-painted Aoshima kits, and then claims that he painted them because, I don't know, he's just a tool. But at any rate, moving on. Reissue of the KE70 Corolla DX early version. This, of course, will be the other version of the new tool kit here. This being the second of 4 of these Corollas. The first one was a GT, and then they did the DX, and then they did something else, and then the one we just showed you. This had new grills and new bumpers and other stuff, but again, this was put out in 2013, so there's nothing new about this. This is just a spot run. And then the last spot run for July is the Subaru Sambar TC Supercharger. This is a 2012 Subaru, if the year matters to you. If you have never actually picked one of these up, and the price on them is like $24. There's also a panel van version of it. They're little K trucks, and by that I mean they're like, wee big. No, they're like the size of a golf cart, a little bit bigger, but not much. There's a lot of places in the United States you can't even license those things for on-road use if you happen to get one here, because they're just too small and not robust enough to take care of getting out there on the highway. I think Oklahoma might be one of the only states you can actually plate one of those things legally. There's a couple of other southern states. I think Alabama too, but that is, guys, pretty much everything for July. We had just a whole pile of check marks here. The only thing that didn't come in were 3 of the Shizuka announced Aoshima kits, and I didn't expect them to because I haven't seen box art for them. So your guess is as good as mine. Probably August on some of the stuff now. So that stuff is just going to obviously slide because there's nowhere for it to go. Today was the last day of July, and I guess we're going to wrap it right there, guys. We'll be back in a 3 days with the August compilation, where we do the video covering all of the expected releases for the month of August. As soon as we get the information in from Round 2 and Revell as what they're going to officially do for the month of August, we'll get back to you on that. And then I think here, I realize I'm not looking at the camera anymore, because I want to tell you guys we have some holidays coming up in Japan that are going to affect your life. Just need to get the calendar up here because it's obviously already Saturday in Japan, and it looks like basically at least one of the retailers, I don't know if that's an official summer holiday or not, but one of the retailers is going to be closed through the second week of July. So the 12th through the 17th, they're going to be closed. It's going to be a really quiet week that week. We might skip we might take a vacation that week too. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys on the other side.